Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first week of our Daring Faith series. And yes, someone's excited over there, and I really ask that you all really commit to the next 6 weeks. I know it's term 4, everything's going to start getting really busy, lots of extra stuff, break-up parties and school events and everything, but this is a really exciting program, exciting series that we're about to go into, and it's all about, yes, learning about God, learning about Jesus, but how it looks in our lives and how we can change as Christians when we truly believe that God can do the thing that He promises that He is going to do. So Ronan Keating, come on up. I need your help. Imagine if every worry we have, every worry, every fear that makes us turn in the stomach, if you guys have that, or the thing that keeps you up at night, the thing that causes knots in your stomach, imagine if you had to carry all of them in a backpack. I'll get you to do this. Oh my goodness, yep. He's a good high schooler. He's used to having heavy backpacks. So imagine if you had to carry all them around every day. So I'll get you to open it as well. So these are the sorts of things that worries us, that creates fear in our lives. So health. We can get very concerned for our physical health, our mental health, anxiety, depression. These are things that we carry around every day. It could be relationships. We worry about our family, our friends. Do we have the right friends? Why don't we have friends? We might be dating at the moment and navigating how that looks. Some of us might be really fearful for our marriages or our children. Our children could be going through tough times at school, or they're adulting but not adulting the way we feel they should be adulting. Some of us might be worried about our career. Is it going anywhere? What am I supposed to do with my life? What am I going to do when I leave school? We could be worried about our finances. That keeps us up at night. How are we going to pay the next bill? How am I going to have enough money to live? Some of us might be just struggling learning this thing called adulting. We're now in the world, there's more responsibilities, more stresses. School. Some of us here could have a lot of fear, a lot of worrying for school, for exams, keeping on top of everything. All right, is it getting lighter, Ronan?
Very much.
Life in general. Life can be hard, can't it? Life can be hard. Look at all this that we can carry around. Fitting in. Do we fit in? Why don't we fit in? Do people really like me? Or why are people so mean? Not feeling accepted, either in our school, in our family, in our workplace. Being bullied online, being embarrassed online. Is there any others in here? No, thank you. Give Ronan a big round of applause. Some of you may have related to some of them. Some of you may have related to most of them. And this is what we carry around. These are the things that hold us back. These are the things that keep us up at night. And I carry stuff too. I have a backpack. And the things that I'm concerned with are, am I even good at my job? Am I being a good husband? Do my kids even recognize me as a father? Am I even being a good father? Finances, it's very tough these days. I have a car that leaks worse than the Titanic and it's storming every day. That is a concern for me. And you guys might have worries too. You guys might be carrying around backpacks full of fear, whatever it may be. And tonight, we're going to kickstart our series with, what does God say about this? What's God, his opinion on this matter? Because all these things are just day-to-day concerns. Well, for this whole list, I just Googled, what are people concerned about? And the list goes forever. So what does God have to say about fear? And then faith. So Liam and Rubia did a fantastic job reading Numbers 13, and they did it so that I didn't have to do it in this. So can we just give them a round of applause? I would have been very fearful for my job if I had to read that, so thank you so much. So in Numbers 13, and we're going to dive into a little bit of Numbers 14, here we have the Israelites standing right on the edge of the promised land. They're right at the edge. They're overlooking it, overlooking what God said, this is going to be yours, all of it. And haven't they come a long way? They have come all the way from slavery in Egypt, where God heard their moans, God heard their cries, and he came in, and Egypt were the most powerful nation at that time, and God came in and let my people go. You guys know this story, the plagues, the Passover, and then they go through the waters and they don't even get wet, and then they go out and they're in the desert, and then God sends all these miracles, manna from heaven. And then God tells Moses to whack a big rock and water comes out. All these incredible things have been happening to the Israelites through this journey. And then now here they are. And God says, Moses, pick one representative from each tribe. I'm not going to go through the names. And we're going to send them out. Send one good man from each tribe. We'll go in to the promised land for 40 days and scout it all out. What's the land like? Is good pastures? Are there good animals there? Is everything? What's the fruit like? What are the people like? What are the towns like? Suss it all out. And then they do. And why was this important? This was important because God wanted this land to be for all 12 tribes. All of them have an equal opportunity to go into there and have a look at it. And this is also important that God didn't just say, all right, here we are now, guys, lads, all that's yours, go in and get it. See, God isn't talking about blind faith. This is a wise way to do it. Instead of just blind faith, so just say Eli Appleby comes to me and he says, oh, chappie, God says, I've got to jump out of an aeroplane. So he just goes into an aeroplane, gets someone to go up, he just puts a backpack on. I'm pretty sure you just pull this and jump out. No, if Eli was going to jump out of an aeroplane to conquer a fear of heights or conquer a fear, he would do the training. He would do the safety talks. He would probably go up with a trained professional that would have Eli strapped on his back or his front, and he will do it all for him. That's a way to conquer a fear. So God's not saying blind faith, just go in and go, stab as many people and say, this is now my land. No, this was a much wiser way to do it. So for 40 days they explore and they discover amazing rich soil and thriving crops and the cluster, but they also see some towns and some cities and some people. So then they come to report. They come back after 40 days to give the report, And then they say, it really is a land flowing with milk and honey. Here's the fruit. And the fruit was so big that it took 2 people to carry it on a stick. It's almost like a pig on a spit. These big, amazing fruits. And they use the word, it really is like milk and honey. And the reason they say this is because to say milk and honey is the milk means that there is so much luscious pastures. So much pastures, so much grass, so much crops that the herds and the flocks are just there getting fatter and producing more and more milk. So that's to say, hey, this is how great the land is. It's so luscious. And then the honey is to say that was the sweetest thing at the time. It was one of the sweetest things. So of honey meant all these sweet things. So it's to say that the land is perfect. It is perfect for growing. It is perfect for livestock. It is perfect for all the foods you need, even the treats, even the desserts. And then they say, but. And everything changes from here. From here, it goes from positive and excitement and, wow, this amazing gift, and we start to see the story crash. The people who live there are powerful. The cities are large and with high walls. We felt like grasshoppers compared to them. And then all of a sudden, the fear spread. It got worse. And then they're like, oh no, why would God bring us here just to kill us by the sword? Why would we come here? And then they started panicking. And then these 10 of the 12 spies went and started whispering and exaggerating. And all of a sudden, all the people come up to Moses and Caleb and Joshua, the 2 other spies, and they're like, we want a new leader. We want a new leader that will take us back. Hey, we're right here now, right at the edge of the promised land, but we want to go back to Egypt. We want to go back to slavery because at least there we worked, we ate, we slept, and we didn't have to worry about all these giants and big walls. They wanted to go back. Here's God with the future, and they're like, no, I don't like that. I want to go back to before you rescued us. I want to go back to there because at least that was normal for me in my comfort zone. So with all the hysteria, Joshua and Caleb are like, shut up, shush. Yes, that looks bad, but our God is stronger. Our God is stronger than that. Let's take the land now. And you expect the crowd to go, yeah, but instead they're like, kill him, stone him. He's trying to do encouragement. We want negativity. Kill him. Get rid of him. How dare you do that? And then at that point, God had had enough. After everything God had done for them, to repay God like that, he's like, nah, I have had enough. This generation will never go to the promised land. You guys are now going back to the wilderness, not Egypt, just the wilderness, and you're going to spend 1 year for every day the spies were in the land I had planned for you. So for 40 days, they stayed in the wilderness until that generation were gone. Now this is the important part. That was not meant to be the ending to this story. At the very beginning of chapter 13, it was full of hope. It was full of excitement. It was full of God delivering on his promises. And then fear just corroded it like a rotten apple in the bottom of a bag of apples. The poison went from the bottom all the way through. So this is the problem. Fear keeps us from trusting God and claiming his promises. So I'm going to quickly go through we're going to track through this story and go through all the different parts that fear affected people. And then we're going to go through a couple of the positive points of Joshua and Caleb. So I want you guys to hang in with me. This will go for about 6-7 minutes only. And then I want you to identify, when we bring up one of what fear did, I want you guys to stay with me on this. I want you to really hold on to it and identify if any of this is happening in your life. Because these are everyday things. So identify, oh, gee, yes, I have done that recently, or, oh, no, I saw someone. So start to picture it in your life. So the first one is fear exaggerates difficulties. The spies said, we went into the land which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. Here is the fruit, but, there's that but again. The people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. So fear will always put a but in. Oh, here's this wonderful thing. Oh, but. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry, but. See, but undoes everything. So, what buts are you putting after God's promises in your life? When are you pausing on something God has planned for you because of fear? The second one is fear underestimates us. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked like the same to them. So here, fear is assuming. Fear is assuming that those people were looking down on them. Fear created a whole new story that wasn't reality for those spies. Fear doesn't just make a problem look big, it makes you look small. The spies forgot that they were God's chosen people. And sometimes we forget that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So are you seeing yourself through the eyes of fear, or are you seeing yourself through the eyes of God? The next one is fear discourages us. That night, all the members of the community raised their voices and wept aloud. Fear drains courage and replaces it with despair. The Israelites cried all night because God had failed. Not because God had failed, but because they couldn't see past their own fear. Where in your life has fear kept you from taking a step of faith? And the next one, fear leads to complaining. All the Israelites grumbled against Moses and Aaron, and the whole assembly said to them, "If only we had died in Egypt." Isn't this incredible? From fear reimagining a scenario that was supposed to be beautiful, now they're like, why didn't we just die? Why did we come here? Where in your life has fear kept you from taking that final step of faith? And then fear blames God. Why is the Lord bringing us to this land only to let us fall by the sword? Fear twists reality. The Israelites started blaming God, the very one who rescued them out of Egypt. Fear convinces us that God's plans will harm us instead of bless us. When life feels uncertain, do you accuse God or trust God that He is actually in control? See, the gospel message is faith trusts God's promises because God is faithful. See, Caleb and Joshua went into the promised land and saw everything that the other 10 spies saw. They went into the same land. They saw the same pastures. They saw the same fruit. They saw the same cities. They saw the same people. And then they came back and reported, "This land is amazing. Let's take it." Because they knew that this was God's plan for their lives. This was God who had already been faithful right up to this very point, continuing the God story, the God legacy in their lives. Because faith sees God's promises, not problems. Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, "You should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it." Faith looks through the lens of God's power, not through human limitation. Faith speaks with courage. In the middle of the fear and panic, Caleb raised his voice with confidence. He didn't wait for others to agree before speaking the truth. Faith speaks up even when fear tries to silence it. And then faith stands firm when others doubt. See, the thing is, faith packs light. God doesn't want us to continually carry every single one of these. God doesn't want us to be constantly worried about exams or work deadlines. God doesn't want us to live, I can't even read my own writing here, life in general. See, God doesn't want us to be carrying these burdens around. That's why when Jesus came, he said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened." He said that to ordinary people that were just weighed down by all the pressures of life. See, we have financial burdens. So did they back then. We have family burdens. So did they back then. And God, its promises are the same today as they were back then. So this week, as we start these series, how do we tackle this? How do we empty our backpacks that are weighing us down? How do we stop this? And you do it one fear at a time. God's not asking you to jump out of a plane without an aeroplane to prove yourself to him. God's not even wanting us to prove ourselves to him. See, that's the point. When the Israelites were going to take the promised land, God was going to do it for them. It wasn't their burden to begin with. They made it their burden. So tonight, what we're going to do is give one fear to him. One thing that is stressing you out right now. One thing that is stopping you from moving forward. One thing that is preventing you from moving into the promises that God has planned for you. One thing to block the wall that stops God from moving through you. It could be work. It could be school. For me, one of these fears was actually Bible college. For 20 years, I let fear stop me from going to something God always wanted me to go to. And I had every excuse under the sun. Lord, I'm not academic. Lord, you know me. When I was in high school, I was in all the special classes. I had to have tutors from year 4 to year 12. Lord, you know that I could barely even get a C minus, let alone go to a university level. And God's like, do it. Stop complaining. Stop complaining and do it. And I'm doing it, and I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute of it, and I'm even getting the equivalent of B's, so I'm the first one in my immediate family to get a B. So what is your one thing? Because from tonight together, we're going to commit to be the one who believes God can. From tonight on, I want every single one of us to truly believe that God can. Instead of saying, I can't, we now say, God can. Oh, but Lord, I can't go and do that, but with you, I can. God can save your marriage. God can rebuild your family. God can help you with that ministry that God's wanted you to do, but you've let fear stop you. Whatever it is, in the last song, if I get the worship band up, I have pen and paper all here. You don't have to put your name on it. But tonight, while the band's playing, I want you to come up and I want you to write your one thing. What's the one thing that you're going to give to God because God can take care of that? And I'm going to collect them all at the end and I'm going to give them to our prayer team. And whenever our prayer team meet, they're going to pray. And it's going to be praying for you. Because see, the beauty is because of what Jesus did, we don't have to do it alone anymore. Because Jesus came and died and rose again. And because we're now in the body of Christ, we don't just have to say, oh, but God can. It's actually we can as the body of Christ. We're not alone anymore. We're going to do this together. So come on up as the song starts and write down your one concern, your one fear that's stopping you from moving forward in your faith. And as a body of Christ, we're all going to pray for you. All right, let's go.